Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. Today is Friday, which means whether you want it or not, it is time for some obscurities in literature. And today we have a oldie but a goodie. Well, it is an oldie now, sadly. But this is the Aliens Official Colonial Marines Technical Manual now. I know we've had this for some years, and it's actually in quite nice condition considering I don't know how many different members of our family have browsed its pages since the years it was published. Now, funny enough, flipping the book open, it says here that it was originally published in 1995 by a different company, Box Tree Limited, but this is the first publishing from Harper Prism in 1996. Now, I was under the impression, actually, that this came out before Alien 3, but I guess it actually came out afterwards, if I remember correctly. Alien 3 was about 92. I'm pretty sure on that one, but I can't be 100%. Anyway, this book was one of those lights in the dark when it came to nerdy material. So obviously, we were big fans of Alien growing up. I can vividly remember my father first explaining the premise of the original movie on a trip to Las Vegas, and we were staying at a cousin's house, and I remember playing with their old Hammond organ and having my dad draw a picture of what the xenomorph looked like and explaining, I'd say, a little bit more PG-rated explanation of what they would do to their victims. But yeah, it's stuck with me all these years, so good times. But quite an interesting book. So one of the things that I really like about it, first of all, is the typeset. It's very much like old typewriter, official documents that you would have seen back in, official government issued paperwork back in the day. One of the things that I've always enjoyed about this book is just it goes into great length explaining in detail all of the technical aspects of a lot of the equipment that they would use in the movie. And again, I was kind of surprised to find out that it actually came out after the third movie, and obviously before Covenant, but it gets into some of the details about how their gear works, how the smart guns worked, firing prone, there's all kinds of fun cutaways, thermal trackers, fun stuff. And so all these black bars and kind of offset typing you see here is actually all like quotes and flavor text based on various Marines' time in the service, which is kind of a fun little tidbit. Now, I know this never showed up in any movie officially, but it is their ghillie suits that they would have used in the Colonial Marine Infantry. Gets into battle dress, some of the armor they were wearing. Later on, we get into some of the fun stuff. There are various camouflage they use, tactics, cross sections of the weapons. Those are the cross sections, but here's the cross section that I was looking for the dropships. The Cheyennes, which I did not know that was the official name of. Growing up, we spent plenty of time looking at those old Jane's fighting ships and all those cross sections of various warplanes of the world. So this has a lot of fun nostalgia looking at here as we go into all the detailed parts of the dropships. It's funny how much of a significant impact this movie had on collective sci-fi nerddom for many years to come. It was an intense movie, various payloads that the dropships carry. Some nice color pictures. Always a fun fact that this APC that they used in the movie was actually based on the shell of one of the haulers for the jumbo jets at the airports. I always found that amusing. Again, the M577. Okay. Various turret designs. Now here's some stuff that we never saw in any of the movies. The Ridgeway tank. Another one, the Jackson. Do like all the various color plates throughout. Phased plasma infantry gun. Okay. Getting into mortars. Missiles. Again, some various other vehicles that we never saw. And the actual xenomorph. Oh, no, not the xenomorphs yet, but whole thing on the synthetic humans. So I'm curious as to how much of this fluff stuff is actually like canon that was established by Cameron and his crew prior to the actual filming of the movie. I don't know the validity of it. I mean, obviously this was published long before any of the further movies that I don't think did the greatest job of carrying on the legacy of the franchise, especially those Versus movies. Get into the power loaders here. Here's some stuff I don't think we ever saw. Various pressure suits, environmental suits. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Then we get into like the combat support stuff. Random picture of aliens. Xenomorphs. I was going to say, I thought we got into some of the transport ships. The Silico. Some of this looks like early production artwork rather than nice cross sections of the ships. I thought they had a thing on the Nostromo in here, but I could be wrong. More of the spaceships. These are their weaponry, I guess. Decoy balloons and re-entry vehicles, along with fragmentation mines. Okay. Locker rooms. I mean, there is just an absolute ton to go into here. Getting into some of the space tactics the ships were using. I'm going to have to go back and reread this because I'm kind of curious as to what and who these ships are actually getting into fights with, because I do not remember that. And then as we get into the actual xenomorphs themselves. Towards the back of the book. Fun stuff. Again, it is fun to just read through some of the text in here, especially the oral accounts from various Marines. Some of it's a bit cringy when it's written with a flexion, but all I can say is I guess it was the 90s and it was all right to do. Getting into cross sections of their physiology. Tractor. Just an interesting bit of movie-going lore, long before it was butchered with various crossovers versus movies and idiots roaming the galaxy and taking their helmets off when they really shouldn't have when they found derelict spaceships. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Good times back in the day. And I want to say... I was going to say, I thought this was, for whatever reason, I've always associated this with old West End Games RPG books, but that just could be the fact that I had that stuff sitting on the shelf together. I don't think there was any actual relationship between the two companies. So, anyways, I'm going to take this book, grab a cup of coffee, and sit back and go read through some of that fluff. But if you ever get a chance, I do think, unlike my Tsuburaya Eiji book, I'm pretty sure that this has been republished since the middle of the 90s, which unfortunately was quite some time ago now. And hopefully, if you are curious about that and you do have a fond fascination of the Colonial Marines and their interactions with the Xenomorphs, you might still be able to find this then for a reasonable price. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.